Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. I'll get settled here.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Going ahead to call the meeting to order. And so I want to let everybody know that our meeting minutes are located on our rolandopark.org website. Okay. And then we also record the meeting. Okay. For everybody online too. Okay. It seems we lost it again.
I don't know. Oh, it's probably this connection.
Yep. Excellent.
All right. You want to?
Okay. Well, you guys can see us, so we'll go ahead and move forward while Lynn does the technical difficulties there. Cheryl? Yeah. Okay. There she is. I'm like looking at the computer there. Okay, Cheryl, dues and memberships, please.
Hi. So we right now have 67 members for a total of $816 in dues and $653.05 in donations for a total of $1,469.05 total revenue. And that is comprised of 53 renewals and 14 new members.
Right. All right. So how about this? Let me play with that a little bit because I'm about to. The next thing we're going to move on to is our community announcements. Is Jennifer online here?
Yes, I'm
So
here.
we'll start with you for any community announcements.
Kind of dark, sorry.
No worries.
Hey, hi, good, hello everyone. I'm not sure if Lynn is going to touch on this, but we have one of our community members, John Hogan, is working with Lynn from Rolando Park and Bob from Rolando on a tree project for University Avenue. So Lynn might have more to say about that in a minute, in a little bit. And is Bettina here? I don't see Bettina. Maybe Bettina's in the meeting in person.
Bettina couldn't make it tonight.
Oh, okay. Oh, too bad. I was going to ask her to do this part. All right. Well, Bettina and I and Brian from Oak Park are a team working with Groundwork, San Diego Choyas Creek on a resident empowerment training program, which is pretty exciting. We've had one in-person meeting at the Jacob Center and one online meeting so far. And our chosen project to work on is, big surprise, big drum roll, Streamview Drive. So as we're already working with the city on phase 1 repairs, revisions, and phase 2 moving forward, we've chosen that as our project so that we can incorporate all of the things that we're learning in this program with Groundwork to improve any plans moving forward for our Streamview Drive phase 2 and to look back at phase 1 revisions that we're gonna work towards. And that's all. That's all. Is that all? Anyone else from Redwood Village here? I see Deb, Sandy, Val. Any updates? Thank you.
Going once, going twice.
Sold. We're done. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jennifer. Sorry, we're still having some camera issues. So first thing I want to announce is we're having an election in January, and our secretary, Kara West, and Cheryl Bailey would love to step down. They will stay on for a little bit, but so we're looking for a secretary and we're looking for a treasurer. This is a 2-year term. We have descriptions for each position on our website, rolandopark.org, or you can email us at contact@rolandopark.org if you're interested. All positions require, I would say, about a 6-hour a month commitment. You have 2 meetings a month. That's 2.5 hours, plus there is some work, especially if you're the treasurer. Right now, this has been our membership drive, and so Cheryl's been pretty busy. So anyway, we'll talk more about it next month. Upcoming events. On October 28th, we're having a cleanup at Xena Canyon. I just talked to the school district today about the permit that we need. And so we're going to start off a little earlier than we usually do, from 7:30 to 9. It'll be nice and cool. We're going to be working in a very limited area in the canyon because of the homeless encampments. The school district will be taking care of that later this year. So 7:30 to 9 will be the Xena Canyon cleanup. From 9 to 10:30, we're going to have a bulky item drop-off for volunteers and Rolando Park Community Council members. They get priority for the cleanup. And from 10:30 to 12, bulky item drop-off will be open for the rest of Rolando Park and Redwood Village residents. So think about it. Think about your bulky item drop-off. It costs you $57 to go to the Miramar landfill. It costs you $12 to become a Rolando Park Community Council member. I think it's a pretty good bargain. And I do have some updates for those of you who were here last month. We talked about the Xena Canyon proposal, which is that where you're asking the city to take over the management of the canyon because it right now belongs to the school district. So Sonia and I met right after that meeting with Groundwork and Canyonlands. We got the information we needed, and Groundwork met with the City of San Diego Parks and Rec Department last week. And this week or next week, the city resource manager and a trails planner will be out to Xena Canyon to assess it. So we'll know more next month. There's another meeting in about 3 weeks to talk about what the next steps are on that. I do want to also add that on September 25th, I went with the principal and Terry Hoskins and our new CRO, Josh Cummings. We did a tour of the homeless encampments in Xena Canyon. You don't really get more than about 300 feet into the canyon before you hit about, about 10 encampments down there. So Principal Noriega took pictures. I took pictures. Roberto has my pictures. Principal Noriega sent them on to the school district real estate office, and they are coordinating a massive cleanup to take care of cleaning all the homeless encampments out of Xena Canyon. So the hope is to get this cleaned up, and then city will take over management. We're going to reestablish the trails, clean the canyon up so it's fit for hiking, and we'll have rangers and police able to patrol it, and you'll be able to finally get it done to keep the canyon clean. So.
Yay.
Yes, that's a big yay. So that's all I have for announcements. To our next item.
All right, so we have a public comments portion. So we ask people to keep it to 2 minutes. So you at home and everyone here, is there anyone here who has any non-agenda items that they'd like to discuss, announcement or anything? Let's put up a hand if you have one online there. Nope. Okay, don't see any announcements here.
There's got one here.
Oh, do I see one? Oh, right here. I'm like, where?
What do you want me to talk into?
You can just speak. They should be able to hear
Yeah,
you.
there's a microphone there. I wanted to, so there was a community complaint that went to SDPD having to do with human trafficking down on University Avenue with a total of 4 massage parlors. We didn't used to have that many. There have been some problems associated with them. I just wanted to note that SDPD was really responsive. in addressing the complaint, and I'm hopeful that moving forward, we'll be able to keep this as a higher profile issue.
Right. Thank you for that. Any other comments? Oh,
Yeah, I
you got one?
Livingston College seems to be homeless dumping trash on a daily basis. I drive by it
Mm-hmm.
and it's gone, comes back the next day. It's continually going from weeks on end.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care, police officers drive by it, they see it. And they call somebody and say, hey, it's not. I mean, that's right down the street from us.
Right.
Not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can fix that.
Yeah.
Or even deal with Walmart's trash, shopping carts thrown over the fences.
Yeah.
That's not our area, you know that. Yes, but that's the kids. Okay. You guys see that or not?
Yeah.
It's closing in on us. I don't know if you guys know what it is.
Right.
We've been here, what, 22 years? And it's closing in on us.
I would say at this point, because we know, sometimes the response is not so fast, but maybe team up with a couple of neighbors to also put in to get it done. So if we get multiple people putting it in, let's hope that can make it go a little bit faster.
How far does Caltrans, how far can they go off the freeway, say on College and 94?
Mm-hmm.
How much can they clear before they have to stop?
What's their jurisdiction?
Oh, you mean as far as who handles the freeway? I'm not
Well,
sure.
not so much the freeway, the portion
The off ramps.
everybody's seen where the guy cuts the fence.
Yeah, the off ramp
Is
kind
that
of
city
section.
that can clean that up, or is that part of Caltrans?
I'm not sure, Lynn, I don't know if somebody on the call can answer that question.
I can answer. It should be a Caltrans issue as long as it's on the off ramp and on that other side that belongs to the freeway. So as long as it's there, that would be a Caltrans issue.
So is it Caltrans that takes care of the guy that cuts the fence?
Yeah, right across that, because that fence would be part of that off ramp. On Livingston, there's a fence before you go down the embankment to the street of Livingston. So I guess that would be assumed that that's still part of Caltrans. Is that
Well, I'm
fence?
talking about the opposite side,
Oh, the other side.
going south on College to 94.
Oh, going on to the 94. Yeah. You said,
It seems like if they cleared all the bushes out
oh, you mean along on the right side or the left side? On the right side.
going west,
Uh-huh.
that there wouldn't be touching of the fence. There wouldn't be any.
Yeah. That's something we have to consider. That's something maybe we have to put on and see if there's more information we can get about how to handle that situation there. Any more comments? Anything online? Nope. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move to our community reports. We want to try to keep them to 5 minutes for each of our representatives. I don't know how many representatives we have today. Just trying to see who all we have. We have Officer Cummings. And who else do we have? Yeah, and anybody else? Nope. Okay, so then you can have more than 5 minutes each. Officer Cummings was first, so I will let you go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much. First and foremost, good evening, everybody. Nice to meet everyone via Zoom. Sorry I couldn't be there. We have the Chiefs Convention this week, so we're all adjusted, and all the community resource officers are actually having to work Saturday, Sunday this week to cover off on that convention. So I can't wait to be there. I'm a person kind of guy, so I can't wait to be there and meet everyone in person. I think, I'm not sure where I went.
Terry Hunt.
Don't worry about it. We'll get you.
Awesome. Everyone can still hear though?
Yes, you can still hear us just a bit.
Awesome. All right. So anyway, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Officer Cummings. You can call me Josh. I know Terry goes by Terry. I've worked in Mid City for the last just about 10 years, and for the most part in the 20s. So the Rolando area, Talmadge, all those areas like that belong to your guys' neighborhood. So I'm very familiar with the issues. I've worked very closely with Terry. I've also been in the Marine Corps for the past 19 and a half years. I'm currently still serving as a reservist. So there will be some times that I'll be on reserve duty very occasionally, not all the time, but anyway, so I'm still doing that. But I share the same work ethic and the same passion, and I understand that the community is the most important aspect of policing, and our partnership with the community is vitally important to our success, and it's a team effort. So I look forward to building on the legacy that Terry has built, and he's done a phenomenal job. And, you know, I'm just as sad to see him go as everyone else because he's just a phenomenal guy. And if he was on here right now, he would probably tell me to stop talking because that's Terry. But yeah, he's done a fantastic job. And I look forward to building off of that. I do, you know, moving forward, I have to balance my time, you know, between text messages and emails to being able to be out in the field, to getting to college in Livingston, to getting to some of these problematic areas and taking some sort of personal approach and enforcement to those areas. So once I take fully over the entire area and you know, once Terry is retired, then I will come up with a good balance and you'll see me out and about. And I would like to make pretty much all of these meetings in person. But again, as far as tonight goes, I don't have any specific stats to report. I am very familiar with a problematic house at the college in Livingston area, though. And I'm hoping with code enforcement, we can put the right pressure to get that house kind of cleaned up. And that probably has a little bit to do with maybe some of that dumping. But nonetheless, I just wanted to kind of hear from the community, hear what your guys' needs are. And then moving forward, I will start to figure out the right approach and address those issues and go from there. So very nice to meet everyone. Just wanted to open it up and see what it is that I can do to help, you know, you guys the best.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, we got Jerry.
You want to go?
You're muted, Jerry.
There.
This is Jerry. Officer Cummings, I wanted to ask you if you know anything about an incident on October 4th where there was actually a shot fired into a resident's house on Little College. It was south of Jeff Street into a private house. I guess it happened after midnight, and it took the family a little bit of time to realize what happened, that there was actually a shot fired through their front door and into a cabinet next to the door.
Yes.
This is actually the first I've heard of that. I have not heard of any of it, like anything about that. So I will look into that and I'll make sure I, you know, relay the information to the appropriate channels to make sure you guys have a good answer for that.
It's been reported. It was on, you know, the crime mapping, but it's a friend of my daughter's who lives there, and that's how I learned about it.
Got it. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get with the investigations. I'll call one of the detectives tomorrow, just because now it, you know, piques my interest as well. But I hadn't heard anything about it from any kind of, you know, usually if it's something, not saying nothing, it's not significant, but usually depending on what it is, there's a lot of talk about something like that. So we have been on days off though for a few days now. This is our 4th day off. So yeah, I haven't heard nothing, but I will research it and make sure I get that information back to you and be able to speak intelligently from the investigation side.
Okay, thank you.
Heather?
Yep.
I don't know if this is the right venue to ask this, but I've noticed an increase, not only over here at Racine and College, of cars running red lights. Lots of accidents happen at that intersection. I also noticed that a lot of people who cut through from Walmart and that College Grove area into our neighborhood, don't even do a California stop. And I wanted to know if there's any sort of enforcement, because I've seen police officers just be at a stoplight and somebody runs it and they don't do anything about it. So I don't know if your priorities are not to pull people over for that, or if there's any type of neighborhood enforcement that can be implemented to keep our streets safe.
Yeah, I can speak to that. It really depends on what that patrol officer is doing. For example, if that patrol officer's heading to the incident, right, where the gunshot was fired through the door and he sees someone run a red light, me personally, I'm probably not going to be too concerned about the red light as long as there's no collision. I'm going to get to wherever the shot was fired at because that's more important. So a lot of times when you see these patrol officers, due to the current staffing shortages that we've been dealing with for a very long time, unfortunately, these guys are usually going call to call to call to call. And that could be someone threatening someone with a weapon, to a domestic violence call, to a burglary in progress, a robbery that just happened. It could be a variety of things. So depending on what the call is and the nature of it is going to dictate whether or not they'll intervene into something like that and do a traffic stop. Obviously, those violent calls take precedence. But as far as getting some sort of specialized enforcement, I'm sure I can reach out to our traffic unit and just kind of, probe around and see if we can't get some extra enforcement. Is there a specific time of day or night that this is or evening times specifically that I can use to let them know?
I would say it's mostly in the afternoon, anytime after 2 o'clock. Through like rush hour, and with it getting darker earlier, I mean, people are just all about themselves these days, unfortunately. And I just wanted to touch on what you said. I'm not talking about an officer who has their lights on and is going somewhere. I'm talking about an officer just sitting at a light, waiting with the rest of us, and somebody blows through a red light clearly, and that officer is still just sitting there. To me, that just seems frustrating. I'm not talking about somebody who's in pursuit of somebody else and they're going to make a choice between that and the red light. And so
yeah, I understand. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I completely understand. But when these guys are responding to these unless it's a priority zero, meaning like a fire, a medical emergency, something specifically in progress, like a hot proud burglary, someone's in someone's house in the middle of the night kind of thing, or a shooting, they're not going to be going with their lights on. They could still be headed to, it could still be a burglary or someone prowling in someone's backyard or a domestic violence. Their lights won't be on and they'll still be en route to that call. So again, I can't speak for the officer. I don't know. I know me personally, if I'm sitting at that light and someone's running the red light and I'm not en route somewhere that takes precedence, I'm stopping that car all day long. So again, but I don't know the circumstances and I can't speak to what they were doing or who it was or any of those things. So I frankly couldn't tell you why they did not stop the car for doing something like that. But like I said, I can definitely address that basically through traffic and see if traffic has enforcement or they can do extra enforcement in the area.
I don't know if you can answer this, but are we getting any of those cameras like up on the house that, catch everybody speeding and stolen cars and
smart streetlights? There's two. They'll be at one at the corner of Livingston and College, on College, and then there's one across the street on the west side of College. That's the two. I looked it up on the map because Lionel and Edith asked me about it, so I did look it up on the map. They're going to go there, I believe. Yeah.
I don't want to Aragon.
That's another. Yeah.
Josh, I don't know if you saw the chat, but there's someone asking for your contact info. So if you could pop that in there, if you don't mind sharing that, that would be great.
Okay.
Do we have
Yeah, no
anyone else has any questions for Officer Cummings? No? All right. Well, thank you, Officer. Welcome. And so we'll move on to Roberto Marin, City Council President, Don Elo Rivera. It always throws me off.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing
You
good.
guys are doing good. It's not hot, so I'm glad. My name is Robert Marin. I'm the community rep for Council President Johnny Lou Rivera's office. I was online last month. I was in another meeting, so I wanted to make sure that I was physically here to give you the report. So here I am. Wanted to give you a couple updates. I know I gave like really brief updates last month. I'm gonna give a little bit more of a detailed update this month. I'm gonna start off with Redwood Village. Trails Parkway, obviously everyone is aware, I'm aware. For years it's been neglected, a lot of illegal dumping, homeless encampments, etc. We are working diligently with ESD, Environmental Services Department, MPD, SDPD, and also the Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department to make sure that we can adequately address that situation. I have a presentation that I'll present another time. But basically, we have been doing some sweeps there. As you well know, unfortunately, people just come back right back there. So we're just really working really hard to get that going. I'm also keeping tabs on the Choice Triangle Park. That's supposed to be starting next year. So they're going to start clearing the area. They're going to start fencing off the area. They're leave security on site when we start doing construction. So hopefully that'll mitigate all the big trailers, all the illegal dumping and such like that. Just wanted to let you know that is in the works. The second thing is in terms of Redwood is the Stream View Phase 2, as Jennifer mentioned, she mentioned Phase 1. We had a meeting on August 21st, I believe. It was a very productive meeting. We made sure that city staff got residents' input. Basically, we want to make sure that this time around, we don't mess up like Phase 1. We want to make sure that we get it right. If we're putting all this money into the city, we want to make sure that the residents deserve world-class services and they get what they deserve. And so when city staff was presenting, Lynn made some tough questions. I even had some tough questions for them. Like I said, it's not going to be for me. It's not going to be for my mom. It's going to be for you all. So again, we want to make sure we got it right. They incorporated some landscape. I know there was talk about they wanted even more landscape. So we're working with the city staff to do that. We're also working to make sure that they come back to the residents of Redwood Village, particularly for the Eastern Area Planning Committee, to make sure that they present that final design and make sure that we're all in the group. So I'll definitely let you know when that happens. I'll let them know when that happens. Second thing is we know that there is issues of graffiti on 60th and Rock Place. There's a wall right there that gets tagged all the time. Constituent reached out to me, so I've been diligently working on trying to get a mural there, working with the property owners to see if we can mitigate that from happening. So I'm working on that as well. We're going to shift over to Rolando. Rolando Park, we have the storm channel that has not been cleared out for God knows how many years. They have started working on it. They continue to work on it. They cleared out all the construction debris that was in the channel. They started to cut the vegetation as well, so that is continuing. I'm supposed to get an update at the end of this week. So they're working on nonstop to address that issue and hopefully mitigate any flooding concerns for neighbors and businesses alike. The second thing that I want to bring up is I want to thank Lynn, John, Hogan, and also Bob Scott. They put a tremendous amount of work on a tree canopy proposal that ultimately made it into our proposal for our budget priorities. And it's 11 pages. I encourage you to read it. I'm going to highlight a couple of them right now for both Redwood Village, Rolando Park. Rolando Park, we're going to start off, and Redwood Village. It's going to be the tree canopy university. It's going to be from 54th to Aragon. As you well know, it is in need of trees. And as I told you guys before, I am a runner. So when I ran down university to college, I was frying like an egg. And I know residents would like to see more trees there so they can walk their dogs. They can go out with their children. Other individuals can just do other activities in there and make the neighborhood a lot more safer, I think, in my opinion. And so they did a tremendous job. It's in our proposal verbatim, the words that Lynn, John, and Bob did. So I want to give them kudos. Another thing for the Rolando area is that we're making sure, there's some bike lanes and also some improvements on the street from Aragon to college. As you all know, it's a bumpy ride. It's not pleasant. I have issues with my car because of that. So I just want to make sure that we address it with the council president, and he's also really focused on making sure that we do. And I just want to remind folks before moving on that we can always make these asks. Right? We don't have that power to just say, you know what, I want the transportation department to fix that tomorrow. It ultimately comes from the mayor's office. So all these are just asks that we're asking to the mayor to include in it. For Redwood Village, we have Choice Triangle Park that we want to continue funding. Not only do we want to continue funding, we want to increase funding. As we all know, inflation is very persistent right now with the cost of goods. If it gets delayed or anything like that, it's probably going to go up. So then to cover that gap, we're going to ask for additional money. There's a lot more information here. I don't want to dive into it too much, but to hand you one of these if you want, or online. It's on our budget survey tab. Yeah. So lastly, I have, let's see here, I have a couple of announcements. One being Saturday, October 21st, we have I Live with Clean San Diego, SDG&E, and our office partnering up. We're going to play in Choice Creek. So that's going to be starting in the Swan Canyon area. I know it's a little far from here, but we're going to work our way all the way up to Choice Creek. So we're going to be picking up later. We're going to make sure the trail is nice for folks to be able to access. So that also is going to be an opportunity if you want. The council president will be there from 9 to 9:30 if you want to interact with them, if you want to say a couple words, want to pick up trash with them. He's more than happy to interact with you guys. And then my last announcement is, like Lynn said, we have October 28th, the Xena Canyon cleanup. The council president will also be in attendance for that one. It's going to be from here from 9:30 to 10:30, so an hour to help unload some bulky items, but also the constituents as well. So that's a great time. I know this part of our district is relatively new, so I encourage all of you to, if you don't want to unload bulky items, which I know everyone has, to just say a couple words, maybe some concerns or anything like that, or any issues that you have in mind. So I highly encourage you to attend that. Yeah. I don't know if you have any questions. Sure.
Nope. I just wanted to thank you again for your help at Rolando Plaza, that storm drain and the homeless encampments back there.
Yeah, I forgot to add that the homeless encampments have been cleared. I'm still keeping an eye on that. And just one last little note, as I mentioned the last meeting as well, take 2 to 3 hours out of my own time on Friday in the morning. I'll get a done report. So I know for Redwood Village and for Rolando Park, I think I filled from August to October roughly like 30 individual reports. And so I know for Rolando Park, it's actually a lot of code enforcement issues, ironically, which is weird, but you know, I can kind of see that. For Redwood Village, as we all know, it's illegal dumping. Those are the two main issues. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone has a question.
Bulky items, does that include mattresses, lawnmowers?
Yes. So I'm gonna provide a flyer probably in the next few days. Okay. I'm gonna disseminate that in my weekly newsletter. I highly encourage everyone to sign up for that if you haven't. That's where you get the latest updates from myself and also flyers and stuff. But yes, mattresses will be included. The things that will not be included, I believe, will be electronics, any construction debris, tires,
hazardous waste,
gas, stuff like that. We won't accept. But there will be a laundry list of what will be accepted and will not be accepted.
Will that flyer also have the location where the dumpsters can be?
Yes, it's going to be right in front of the Xenia Canyon entrance right here, over here near the 7-Eleven.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right there. Right. We'll definitely have canopy, drinks and stuff. You guys can.
Yeah, we'll be doing the Xena Canyon cleanup first, then it's open to members and volunteers for an hour and a half, and then we'll put it up to the rest of the residents from 10:30 to noon. So you're a member. Come on
Saturday
down.
the 28th, and it's not just bulky items, so you're welcome to come out and help pick up the smaller items also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? No, anyone online?
Yeah, I do have a question. So if you don't have the means to haul the big bulky items, can somebody come to your house and pick them up?
No, unfortunately. No. So sorry.
We talk a neighbor, maybe.
Yeah. Text me afterwards, Mia. I have a truck. Always remember, I have the bonus truck.
All right. Thanks, Lynn.
Okay.
All
Anyone
right.
else?
Anything else?
I'm not seeing any hands, so. going once,
Thank you.
Well, thank you,
going twice.
Roberto. Appreciate it. A lot of good information. All right.
All right.
So do we have Cheryl yet?
She's online. She's
All
been
right.
online.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to our presentation. And so we have Cheryl Priatel.
Priatel? Is one of us getting it right, Cheryl?
All's good. I answer to it all. Priatel.
Priatel. I'd like to say it right. So Cheryl Priatel from Groundwork will present a redesign for the pocket park at College Grove and College, right? RPCC members will vote to approve or not approve the design plan. Okay, so we're going to use this here for our presentation. So let me find.
Feel free to move up, folks.
Are we
Sorry
going
about this.
to, is there going to be like a
Cheryl's
video?
gonna show.
Okay, so let me find her here so I can put.
No, you don't have to do anything. She can share her screen from here.
Will it
Yeah.
override this?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure it overrides.
Whenever you're ready, Cheryl, I turn share screen on for you.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
There. And you might need to reduce the size a little bit.
It's here, so you can see it's down. Presentation here.
Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see about half a page.
Yes. And that's what I just figured, because otherwise you can't read any of it if I make it too small, right? I'll just kind of scroll through. Is the people board, can you, is that out of your way now?
I think that's good enough there.
It's good.
We'll get by.
That good? Well, it's my pleasure and honor to be a part of this project to have Rolando Park get a gateway. We call it a gateway sign project there, and that College Avenue, College Grove Avenue, Racine Road Street there, that particular little corner that has a little triangular location, as you can kind of see in the picture here. I'm sure you're all very familiar with it. Lynn introduced me to that, but let me introduce myself actually a little further. I do volunteer at Groundwork San Diego. I'm the board treasurer, and then I also have a garden design business that I have been running for several years now, and take these opportunities when Lynn came in and asked, we need some help. And I'm like, okay, well, let's get it started. So Lynn and I met out at the pocket little triangular piece of property out here. And I came up with some initial designs here to share with you tonight and get your feedback on your thoughts of it. So what I understood from Lynn is that in the past there had been people sleeping there and some homeless issues. So a lot of the vegetation had been actually cut, and there hasn't been any vegetation there other than some trees for a period of time. This is kind of the existing site conditions here, where we have, let's see here a little bit. Can you make it a little smaller? We have 2 big jacaranda trees. Have 4 different palms that are there, and they're actually native palms, indigenous to the area, so they're not quite the California fan palm that you see most in San Diego. These are a much more stout, larger trunk area, and provide a great opportunity for birds and to be nesting in there, which we did actually see while we were visiting the site. Then you have a couple of carrotwood trees up at the top here, and a mulberry tree here. So you do have a few trees and a little speckle of bushes here and there, but I know Lynn said it's a lot of weeds most of the time, and that somebody had come through and did some weed abatement, a couple of days before I actually had seen it. So with that thought, then, after I spent several days kind of coming and going and meeting some neighbors on Racine and seeing the ebb and flow of activity, It would appear to me for this wonderful opportunity to bring some beautification, some nature space, and acknowledgement of your wonderful community, that we would put a sign marker here on that College Avenue, College Grove area, and we'll show some options of what that might look like in a few moments. Put in have this as an opportunity for, again, trying to deal with the heat island issues and putting in some new oak trees, here on the property. Try to address and be thoughtful of water runoff and capture, or we would use a lot of the cobble that's already on site and put cobble. Oh, I'm hearing myself echoing, sorry. And put cobble and kind of as a little river runs through it kind of element along with some decomposed granite at the sidewalk to the cobble area. And all of this would be a focus the point to the sign. And behind the sign then would be an open space green area where we would be then planting some little vignettes of native plant groupings and putting them together. Low-lying plants, I'll show you the plant palette in a minute of what the thoughts were, so that you get some color year-round, some interest year-round, but not anything that would be concerning where people could hide behind it, or it would be an attractive nuisance for individuals to start camping again, or any of those elements. Trying to do, since this has a slope to it, doing a cobble area down here at the bottom to try to catch and slow the water down so that we don't have any runoff from the property area here on this kind of driveway that's here, the turnaround location. Another feature that I thought would be interesting and fun here would be some sitting boulders. They could just be, if there's a concern about it being an attractive thing for others versus the community, it could just be boulders. But sitting boulders, when I was sitting here, it was kind of quiet on this side, and I saw a lot of people, kind of walking their dogs, and the neighbors across the street. And I thought, well, it gives it an opportunity to be a little bit in a green space by having a little boulder to sit on, and some planting islands here as well. So I was suggesting potentially 3 sitting boulders underneath the beautiful jacaranda tree, and then the new oak tree that's would be coming there. And then 1 under this jacaranda tree down at the southern end of the property here. So let me scroll on a little bit to some of the materials. The boulders would be these large Baja Cresta, beautiful reds and golds in them would be the boulders of choice. The DG application there from the sidewalk to the kind of cobble area would be a kind of a desert gold type color. The cobbles that are on site and that we would probably enhance it a little bit more would be in the multicolor Arizona cobble mix, where you have, again, nice blues and grays and, a interesting color palette. And then my hope and desire, since we will need a lot of mulch to cover the remaining area, would be to get some of the 4-inch standard mulch from the City of San Diego's Environmental Services Department. Same kind of mulch they would use in a park. And the native plant palette is exciting. I selected a variety of plants for your thoughts and review that would give us different color during the year and a variety of colors. So this first one is the Ceananthus, which is the California lilac. This one happens to be not a tall bush, but more of a spreading on the ground kind of bush. Gives you those beautiful blue flowers in the winter and to the springtime. There's Verbena de la Mina, which is a small bush-like beautiful purple flowers in the spring and through summer. Another indigenous plant that's so widely appreciated is the white sage. And it gets little blooms in the summer and spring, but it's just its color is a nice pop of white. And then to give you a little more texture and add that white color again elsewhere would be the Dulier Bretonii. It's a, we want to call it a succulent here in our Southern California area, and it gets beautiful little pink blooms on it. It's very cute, very durable, very hardy. The California buckwheat, a lot of you have seen it in the spring and summer. It just has this beautiful white small flower bloom on it. And then as those flowers fade, it's wonderful seed for the birds. The Cleveland sage, beautiful purple flowers, that kind of a lavendery bloom, has a nice fragrance and odor, a scent to it. Again, summer purple flower bloom. The red bush monkey flower, again, gets to be 1 to 2 feet tall, and it blooms. It's quite prolific in its bloom, and it doesn't want any water in the summer, which is how wonderful is that. Then we have some penstemon, very beautiful purples and blues on that it blooms in the winter and spring. And the bladder pod, nice little sweet plant with some yellow blooms on that. And then lastly, for again a little different texture and add some substance, is the Shaw agave or coastal agave, again a native to this area, and it's a very, very durable but not prolific choice of an agave, because you probably are familiar with the century plant, those silver big agaves, and they multiply so quickly it ends up being kind of a maintenance issue. So I focused on a little less of a plant that will be a little less maintenance wise. As I understand, we do have water on the property if we need to use it, and we do have a permitting process to go through the to design this and implement it, as well as for the sign that would be selected. That has a process, and I will be trying to program manage and spearhead this through. The challenges that is always there when you're going through a permitting process. So let's see here. Anything else? I'll put it back on the design and see what kinds of thoughts and questions you all have.
Anyone here have any thoughts or questions on the design?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe not on the design. Who's maintaining it?
I understand when this is completed, it is a streets division parcel, but Park and Rec would be doing the maintenance. That's what I understand at this time.
Were all those suggestions just suggestions, or what is planned? Everything that she mentioned, that's what's planned to go there?
Yes. Cheryl, I just want to clarify too, because I'm one of the people that wanted those palm trees to go away. But I understand they are quite valuable in terms of the birds and here. So I've been talked out of it. But most of the trees there will be trimmed as part of this project too, right? We did talk about everything that's there. Nothing's going away, but it is going to get trimmed up and look decent again. Is that right?
That is my plan in getting all of the needed permits to touch even the trees. So.
Okay. Thank you. Jennifer?
Yeah, Jennifer, and then we can go to.
Thank you, Cheryl. This is a fantastic presentation. It looks great. I'm really excited. What kind of oaks are we talking about?
It was going to be the coastal live oak is what I was recommending.
Oh, okay. It's fantastic. Thank you.
I'm really happy about those oaks. I think that's a great idea. in terms of irrigation, I know you said water, but what is the irrigation going to be like?
If we're going to see if this causes a lot of challenge on irrigation, so that's some work that we have to do with Park and Rec. At worst case scenario, we will pay for somebody to come out and bring a truck, a water truck, and hand water the plants as they need to. All of the trees after a year, actually probably after 2 to 3 years, they may end up to be able to manage just even on their own. They're very resilient trees once we get them past, they're getting their roots settled in. And the plants that I all showed you are all very, very water wise. And so they may all be able to handle, even actually without irrigation, just the natural rain that we have. And gosh, this last year it was, 15 inches of rain, which is unheard of. But we don't know what our new realities are going to be. But since there is water on site, if we are going to connect into that and work with Park and Rec and it all works out okay, it would just be drip irrigation to each of those plant islands that we would be doing and to the trees, so that we would minimize the weed, not encouraging any more weeds than what are going to naturally come up with the regular rain in the rainy season.
Yeah, thank you. My concern was mostly about getting water to the trees in the first couple of years.
I will say, because I know some other projects, and one of them is going to be Streamview, where the city is actually going to water the landscape on Streamview for the first 5 years, make sure everything's established. And I'm also aware of some other projects like Paradise Canyon, where they planted 400 plants this last year, and the city, it brings out a water buffalo to water those for the first 2 years until everything's established. I don't think we're asking for anything extreme here. We're just asking the city to do the same as they would do for other communities.
Yeah, touch a little bit on that. Definitely, Lynn's let me know about the project. We're definitely interested and definitely want to get involved. We're looking at ways to potentially partner up with Groundworks and with Lynn on this. Definitely in terms of the monetary aspect, could be pretty costly, but also making sure that the permits go smoothly as well. I think again, community deserves world-class services. They should deserve a pocket that hopefully use.
It should just look nice when you come into the community. End of story.
We want to be able to use it too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Noel.
The sign, is there a design for the sign?
That's next.
Right.
Edith.
Sitting boulders. She's wondering about the logic of so many cars passing with all the exhaust there. I guess it really sounds favorable.
From what I was hearing, what I was hearing from that was like, she was mentioning people walking their dogs or whatever to have a seat for a minute, not necessarily to hopefully not to picnic or anything like that. Just a little squat for a minute, drink your water, get back to your run, your walk or whatever. And there, with it a bus stop right there, I wouldn't be surprised if a few people sit there waiting for the bus. So we'll hope it's not somebody, lounging for any extended period of time. And it seems to be on the back side, towards the homes, not on the front side except for the one rock towards the street.
They're usually not that big.
Yeah.
It's
nobody's gonna be comfortable enough to stay for any long period of time.
And in terms of that, it is owned by the transportation department, and I'm just gonna be quite honest, really lag on maintenance and really lag on get done. So now that if it goes to Parker, the turnaround for get it done and stuff like that. So definitely that's good.
Jerry's got her hand up, and then Judy. Go ahead, Jerry.
I just wanted to say that I think the design is beautiful. I love the swales and the use of the cobble. And I like the idea of the sitting rocks. it looks really nice to me.
Great, thank you. Thanks to Cheryl. Judy?
You're muted, Judy.
You're muted, Judy. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
About that big ugly, sorry, agave plant, which I hate personally, but just because it's of its size, I just wondered where, if you could show us where it's going to be.
On the it was the Shaw's agave was not your favorite. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Well, the other plants you showed us are pretty. I just don't find that pretty myself, but and it's big.
What? These get to be 3 feet by 3 feet. So in the world of agaves, they're a modest plant. It also, from the sense of trying to deter people from snuggling in on the plants, that would be one that would deter people from getting close to it. So there was a little bit of an effort on that. But why I added different textures and leaf amounts is when you put a lot of bushy plants all together, sometimes you don't get to appreciate and enjoy them as much when you have the differentiations of different leaves and different textures. Then they show up more, and you get to really appreciate what you're seeing. So it was brought in as just a different texture. And
can you show us on the map where it will be?
So back to these, I may only use, maybe, one here and one here, and then some of them will have different elements. So they weren't all going to be a cookie cutter. These planting islands, they would probably have 3 or 4 plants in them a piece. And that would be, that Shaw's agave would maybe be, balanced, one here and one here and, one over there, or actually that's probably too close to people. So I would probably put them on these sides, again, trying to just give some offset to some of the beautiful flowering plants that will also be there, and put softer plants that would be right next to where we would be in the sitting areas.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy.
Sure.
Another question.
Noel?
Does this plan allow for people to navigate and walk through it and kind of around it?
So, yeah, I wanted to, if I had my way, I would have made it a pocket park. But when you start to go and use that word park, then a whole bunch of more things start adding up to it. So we're going with, it's a sign with this beautiful greenscape behind it. But I know everybody's curious, and they're going to be walking from the bus stop down here through. So you actually can and will be able to transverse through, underneath the oak tree out to the turnaround spot. There's a wonderful path that you could walk from between the 2 carrotwood trees up this kind of little ridge around, through the Washingtonian palm trees, down into here and circle out and have a sit. And so those will be, that was just this, I was going to try to make an informal path through there, but then it just started to look like it was going to make it even more complicated. So I just know that all of you that are curious will enjoy wandering through those little areas with being unimpeded with plants or anything.
More questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Cheryl. That was
Thank you
great
very much.
presentation. I love the design. It seems to be popular. I see a lot of people liking it.
Excellent. Do you want me to put on the 2 sign choices?
Oh no, I've got 3.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on to trying to leave this meeting here.
This is really a challenge
There,
tonight.
there. So the next thing to your point, Noelle, say we're gonna do the monument sign concepts. We're gonna show you the concepts. And then we'll do a vote.
And then we'll vote on both the design for the pocket park, and we'll pick a concept for the monument sign. And I want to say, we're talking concept now, because by the time we actually get funding, that concept will probably change. I know the rock's going to change because I think we all know how long it might take to get funding. So I want to start off by thanking my neighbor, Mr. Castro here, who put in a whole lot of time looking for a rock. And we've talked about a monument sign since before the pandemic, about how to get a monument sign done for this pocket park. And then it sort of revolved around the idea, well, it'd be like putting lipstick on the proverbial pig. It looks so awful there. Why would you put a monument sign in until you cleaned up the landscaping? So that's how we came to have discussions with Groundwork. I'm working with Groundwork on some other projects outside of our community. And so Dave found this incredible rock. I'm pretty sure it won't be there by the time we're ready.
I like the other two.
You like the other two? Well, okay. But the rock is organic. I think it works really nicely in the design, but the other signs do too. Number 2 is from a sign company that Cheryl recommended, and we just did a quick I did a quick mock-up of it so you could get an idea. The first one's rock. The second one is a concrete sign with our logo. And the third one, if you go over to Choyas Lake very often and go to North Choyas, you'll recognize that side. Because again, it's just a mock-up. That is actually the entry to North Choyas across from the service yard. And so it's just to give everybody a little bit of a flavor. And what do we want to look at going for this park? It's, it's going to look so completely different with rocks and, swales and this incredible design and more trees. So we just like to get a feel for what people want to do here.
Okay. So we'll start with, did you have a question?
Yeah.
So what's your question?
Will there be any sort of coating on any of these to prevent graffiti?
I'm not sure about the rock, but I imagine everything else has to have a graffiti coating on it, yes. Because as we know, anything on College Avenue is probably going to get graffiti.
Especially right there,
Yep.
because it's so busy right there.
You should have a tag.
And which of these choices would be easiest to remove graffiti?
Mr. Castro, would you know that? I would imagine concrete.
Yeah, the concrete would probably be easier than the rock.
The
Right?
two?
Yeah.
2 or 3 or just
Well,
Two
they're
or-
both, the 2 are concrete.
That actually, you can get the graffiti off there.
Yeah.
On anything.
Even a rock?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we don't want to hinder that.
What's the cost on the other ones?
We're not even talking about costs at this point. It's all about concept. What do people like? I also want to mention that that sign will probably be made out of powder coated aluminum. Is that what Ross likes to work in?
Lettering.
Yeah. Yeah. Our other neighbor is a metal artist, and he's probably going to donate some time to do the logo for us. So this will be our logo on it.
So what we want to do is we'll start with the boulder. And
well, I've got ballots, and I'm going to drop the link into the. Oh yeah. Let me go and get that real quick.
So let's do that.
And then we've got a link for the online posts as well.
Oh. What's the timeline on this park?
That's a question for sure.
So Cheryl, do you have any kind of estimated timeline for this?
I think the two long poles in this tent is getting the permitting process done. I'm going to do it through a right-of-way permit. That is supposedly the quickest possible way of doing it. But I would expect that we have to get these plans drawn up by a professional landscape architect to deliver it in a format that the city is accustomed to seeing. So getting that formality, and so I'm sure that's a few months just all in that. And then it's getting the estimate and then finding a grant and funding for it. And then construction.
But
So,
I've got pens in the box. Not much, likely. No, I'm.
So you're not taking cost into consideration? Yeah, the bottom line is-
Because other people are helping us. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for just a minute, folks, so that I can drop this in the chat.
In there. To collect. Are you gonna collect? Yes. But whatever. I was like, it'll be good. I was gonna take it all out.
Hey, I need some help, guys. Yeah,
Yes.
it's for members only. Sorry. Hey, I need some help. I can't get the chat to open. Seems like it would be here, right? Yeah. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay, folks, if you're online and you're a member, I just dropped a link in the chat. It'll take you to an online voting form, so you can go online and vote.
Deal. People are leaning towards part of the time. There you go. All right. So are we gonna save the results for?
No?
Nope.
We'll just do it in real time here in about 10 minutes.
All right.
And give everybody online a chance to vote. You can collect.
Oh, I already did.
We do.
This is all.
Yeah, I voted online. So everyone here has voted, right?
Yes, everyone was a member.
How about anyone online? Has everyone online voted?
Do I have hands up? If you're done voting, go ahead and put your hand up. Sending thumbs up and stuff on there, so. Okay.
Hands up. Looks like just about every.
Yeah, well, you can look at the votes and see.
Yeah, I'll do
Even
that.
the lineup members are online.
Yeah.
You gonna tell?
I can, if you
Well,
wanna.
hang-
give me- Or just read
Unless they're
Sure.
done.
Yeah. Is there anyone online who needs more time to vote?
Okay. So I'll start with ours here. So we have one
Wait,
approved
wait.
and one number 3. Okay, we have another approve and a number 3. We have an approve and a number 2. We have an approve and a number 1. We have an approve and no sign selected.
Okay.
We have another approve, no sign selected, and an approve and number 3.
Okay, I'm going to our form. It's just one of those nights. Pretty sure I need another glass of wine by the time it's just not coming up.
Oh, is this a online voting thing?
Yeah, the form's there. It's just Google has decided it doesn't want to open it.
Sleepy.
Yeah.
Should we just tell you what we voted?
Say, it's just a hands up for.
Give me one more second, please.
Okay, so let's do it like this. So all who approve, hands up, and we can count.
Seven. Yep.
All right. Anyone that disapproves?
No disapproves.
All right. So we're going to start with sign number 1. Okay. Sign number 2. Okay. Sign number 3. And none of the above. Right.
I think that's an applause.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've been using those as the hands, but yeah, it's whatever people can use as their reaction. But
All right.
you'll eventually, we can always double check it when you
Yep.
get the form up too.
All right.
But,
So what is our grand total there?
7, 14. For guess on the design, nothing, no one said no. 6 for number 1, 3 for number 2, 6 for number 3, and 3 for nothing. So it was a tie between 1 and 3.
All right.
Actually, okay.
Is that close to what you have in your survey?
Yeah. Let me look.
5, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
1.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for number 1. 1, 2 for number 2.
4 for number 2?
2.
Oh, 2. Okay.
2 and 2 for number 3 for number 3.
Yep.
And 1, none of these.
Yep, that's what
None
we
of the
have.
above.
Seriously, do that vote. We
It's
could
down
do
to
that
those two,
again.
and we can look at budget and
Yep.
whatever else we have at that point.
Mhm.
So
One will be cheaper.
Yeah.
that's true.
It's a lot heavier though, too, right?
That's it. My, I mean, it looks nice and everything, but to me, it was gonna blend in too much. At some point or another. Oh, it's already gone. But I mean, as far as a boulder,
Yeah.
will blend into the landscape.
There's so many colors of boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to, yeah, because the color will change, you know.
Well, we have an
But
idea.
I just mean
Mhm.
that's a boulder itself,
Yeah.
not color.
Yep.
Boulder kind of just blends in. The sign will just say boom to
Yep.
me. It's just my own feeling on that. Oh,
Yeah, I saw it.
That's what my reaction.
Yeah, very funny, Jennifer.
What was that
Oh,
comment?
she says heavier is better, so when someone crashes.
Oh.
into it.
It happened to us.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
sorry.
battery's
getting low there. Yeah. Okay, this one.
We
Yeah.
had to
Okay.
restart.
What's anything else on me?
Yeah, but
Oh, real quick before we go, because I was so busy looking at HDMI problems tonight. I wanted to thank Lionel, because last May when we talked about some traffic issues, Lionel brought up the intersection of College Grove and College, where as you go out on College to get on College, it's quite a dangerous corner because of the frontage road. And so I submitted that to traffic engineering and they agree with Lionel. And so they're going to be installing a no turn on red sign there sometime before the end of the year. So thank you for bringing that up, Lionel. Now, if we could just get rid of those concrete mixers on Aragon, life would be good. So I think that's it.
Right. So anybody have anything before we wrap it up?
Anyone online?
Wrapping up early. Well, thank you very much. And we hope to see you next month. Our presentation next month is.
We're going to be talking, we're doing a joint thing, and Jennifer and I haven't talked about it yet, but capital improvement projects. We're putting a list together for both of our communities because our planning group is going to be submitting a list to the city by the end of the year, sort of a statement to make sure that all of our communities in the planning group are heard from on our priorities. I think that's it. Okay.
Okay, so I hope to see you next month. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a
Thanks,
good
everyone.
evening.
Thanks for you online, and sorry about
Have a
all
good
the
night.
technical
Nice
issues.
to meet everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up. Thank you, Roberto. That's good.